is Trudeau trying to do this? What is he trying to achieve by putting an important bilateral relationship go through these unprecedented trials time and again? You know, you had this year ago, and you see it. You said, like, you know, when he's in trouble, he tries to do this all over again. What's your take on that?
Look, my take on this is Justin Trudeau is nearing his 9th year in office. When he came into office, there was a lot of optimism that he would be a fresh face. The reason why his popularity has plummeted, and not simply on this issue, is because he has consistently put himself above the interests of Canada. He has consistently showed himself to be a lightweight. And in this situation, what we have is Justin Trudeau, in a fit of pique more than a year ago, decided to spark a diplomatic crisis, and he may honestly have not realized the import of what he was accusing. Well, India stood up for itself and rather, look, the first rule of holes is when you're in a hole, stop digging. And you know, it seems that Justin Trudeau is intent on digging his way to China at this point, simply because he's not going to acknowledge his own mistake, because he's putting his ego above the national interests of Canada.
Right. Now, did you go through the strongly worded statements that were put out by the Indian side? Something that we haven't seen in years from the Indian side. This was like a direct attack on Trudeau. This is a direct and a strongly worded attack on Canada. What do you make of this, where the Indians are coming from?
Well, look, the Indians have every right to be angry for two reasons. First of all, when I read many of the leaks, and some of the leaks were also published in the Washington Post not too long ago, there was a lot of assumptions made, 2 or 3 degrees of separation. What the Canadians are essentially saying is that this plot goes all the way to the top of the Indian government, because some of the supposed this plot goes to the top of the Indian government because some of those who have conspired are 2 or 3 degrees removed from Prime Minister Modi. Well, you know what? I've done this game before, where I found that I'm 2 or 3 people removed from the presidents of most countries on earth. That doesn't matter when I get that doesn't mean that when I get a speeding ticket when I'm driving, that somehow the government of China or the government of Turkey or the government of South Africa is responsible. That's the type of logic we're dealing with. When they don't have the evidence, the Canadians seem to make it up and say, hey, look, we're Westerners. You got to believe us. And that doesn't fly in India, the world's largest democracy. Frankly, it doesn't fly in the global south or anywhere else in the world. It doesn't fly in the United States. That's where the Canadians are making their mistake. But let's look at this from another perspective. From an American perspective, what the Canadians are accusing the Indians of doing isn't much different from what the Pakistanis accused the United States of doing when we killed Osama bin Laden. And you know what? Maybe the question the Pakistanis should have asked is, why were we harboring a master terrorist? And the fact of the matter is, Canada, through initially fraudulent immigration chains, Canada, through initially fraudulent immigration claims and then chain immigration, has set itself up to be a money laundering and terror financing, terror supporting hub. And many Americans, many Canadians may not understand what the Khalistan movement is. But when you think back on Air Canada, when you think back on Air India 182 back in 1985, this group is potentially as deadly and as vicious as Al-Qaeda. Justin Trudeau needs to be asking, why am I protecting these people?